Mark Nelson and welcome to the brand new series of The Good, the Bad and the Unexpected. It's a show where my three guests try to convince me that their good story is the best, their bad stories are the worst, and we'll have some unexpected twists along the way. Joining me today is a Grammy award-winning songwriter who's sold over 30 million records. Originally from Saltcoats via Australia, he's the frontman of the band Men at Work and a prolific solo artist. It's Colin Hay.
Ah, yes. Hello there.
Joining him, a real Scottish hero. Not only is he a company commander in the British Army, deployed in the Middle East as we speak, he also won the latest series of Gladiators on BBC One. It's Finlay Anderson.
Hi, Mark. Thanks for having me on the show.
And last, but certainly not least, a world-famous comedian, the subject of a brand new film about her life, and thankfully not dead yet. It's Janey Godley.
Hey, I'm still alive.
We're glad to hear it, Janey. Thank you all so much for joining me. It's lovely to have you here. Now, each week, we start the show with a question that you can answer with 3 words. So this week, how would you describe your fitness regime in just 3 words? Colin, let's start with you.
Walk the dog.
Great stuff. And Janey, what about you?
Bending, screaming, sleeping.
Paint a lovely picture, Janey. Mm-hmm. And finally, winner of the Gladiators, Finlay Anderson. How would you describe your fitness regime in just 3 words?
Contender, no excuses.
Excellent. And I think mine would be couch to 5 Kit Kats. Okay, so let's get going with round 1. This is the good round. To win the points, each of you have to convince me that your good story is the best one of the week. Colin, let's start with you. What's your good story this week?
Well, the story that I thought of is when a musical superhero of mine came to dinner.
Oh, excellent. Sounds like a great way to start the show. Tell us more.
I was playing a show in a club in Hollywood, and I'm still playing actually, called Largo. The doorman comes upstairs and he goes, Paul McCartney's in the room, and I said, oh yeah, sure he is,
Wow.
So I went downstairs and sure enough he was there. He said, he said, we're a bit jet lagged, don't be upset if we have to leave. And so I said, stay for 2 songs. They stayed the whole night. And afterwards, we went into this VIP bar. It was like a scene from The Shining, it was just the barman and Paul McCartney standing there and the band, and he's like, hey, come on over here, fellas, great, every note was a winner. And he held court for about an hour, which was fantastic, very, very kind with his time. And then I'm standing there by myself, just next to Paul McCartney, and it's a bit difficult to know what to say to a Beatle, He said to me, we want to come to your house. And I said, well, I'm going on tour on Thursday. And he said, well, we'll come on Wednesday. So they came on the Wednesday night, and I came upstairs from the basement, and I'm standing at the bottom of the driveway. And I see this guy coming whistling down the drive, and I just thought, all those years I've been at a music shop in the southwest coast of Scotland came flooding back, and the posters on the wall, and I just had a real private moment to myself, and I just thought, wow, Paul McCartney's walking down my driveway.
Wow.
And he said, oh, there you are, man. Yeah, come on. He said, there you are. Great. Yeah, really cool, man. Yeah, great. And I said, come on in. So he comes in, and we talked about all kinds of things, and I made them dinner, made them Cuban rice and Peruvian beans and all manner of vegetables. And it was a beautiful dinner. And after the dinner, he stands up and he picks up all the dishes and he takes the dishes into the kitchen and he starts running all the dishes under the tap.
Wow.
Well, I had another private moment just to myself there when I just looked into the kitchen and just thought, Paul McCartney's doing my dishes.
That's brilliant.
Oh, that's absolutely brilliant. My God. Was he any good at washing the dishes? Because that's what we really want to know.
No, he was crap. It was a token effort.
I love the fact that McCartney just invited himself. That's the power of a Beatle. Just invited himself to your house, never asked.
That's right. Yeah, I want to come to your house. Yeah.
I wouldn't have had that. I'd have said, I'm awfully sorry, but I've not even get time to maybe hang a curtain or do a wee bit of painting before you get there. You couldn't have a Beatle in your house unless you'd maybe just gave the stair heat a wash or something like that.
And Finlay, now that you're a very, very well-known star, how have you found mixing in celebrity circles?
Mixing in celebrity circles, given that I'm, as you mentioned, deployed on operations in the Middle East in a sort of secure base with lines of defences. To be honest, if Paul McCartney or anyone else managed to invite themselves into here, past the defences. I'd be that impressed. I'm pretty sure I'd host them.
Yeah, it would be fairly class if McCartney managed to infiltrate a British Army base in the Middle East. Well, a brilliant way to start the show. Thank you very much, Colin. And I'm already going to give you a bonus point for such a cracking McCartney impression. So really well done. Now it's the turn of Finlay, the reigning champion of gladiators. And what a story. I mean, me and my kids watched it. My son is listening in. He absolutely loved the show. It must have been a fantastic thing to be a part of.
Yeah, absolutely amazing, and it's the whole perfectly timed generation of many like me was a sort of young kid in the 90s watching the original show, and now we're the sort of generation, we've all got young kids, toddlers, who are also now all loving the show and watching it with those parents who loved it too. So actually, it's a really nice circle that's happened, and I've got many fans now. I would say thousands, but they're all under the age of 7.
Very well done winning it for Scotland. And tell us your good story this week.
So my good story is initially not my story, but does involve an infamous dictator.
I don't think we've ever had a story involving a dictator before, so this is very intriguing. What's happened?
So my dad, he works in the construction industry, or did, and he was an expat working in Iraq back in the 80s, and he worked on the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Baghdad. He was on the sort of project team. So then when it came to the grand opening, being a ministerial building and part of the government, the Prime Minister himself came to open it. So along comes Saddam Hussein and presents medals to the key workers on the construction team. And so my dad was presented a big bronze medal with Saddam's face on it, shook his hand and still has it now. The real problem for me is being in the military, there's a lot of pomp and ceremony kind of events, often with royalty in attendance and big parades and that kind of thing. And on these formal invites, you'll often get, what to wear. On one of the key ones, there's always service dress, medals may be worn. So my dad has taken this very literally. Very literally a couple of times, and whilst I'm my medals with the Queen's or King's head on it, he has a medal with Saddam's head on it, which is a little frustrating in your work environment. But I made a deal with my dad on the semi-final night of Gladiators that if I win and I get that Gladiator trophy, then he's no longer allowed to wear Saddam's face to military events.
Oh no!
So I'm happy to say that my bet paid off. And my good story is I'm unlikely to be part of international diplomatic incident thanks to my dad.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's a great story for you. Terrible story for your dad, because he sounds like he loved his Saddam medal.
I know, it's locked away now.
You should stick that on eBay. Imagine the fortune he'd make for that now. Like, how's the transition been from obviously doing the series back to... Cause did you go straight back into army life, or...?
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing about the series is it obviously was shown once a week for 11 or 12 weeks, but we actually filmed it on back-to-back days. So it was a strange flash to bang of 11 days straight. The final was literally on the Sunday, and I was back to work on the Monday. So it was this strange little blip in reality back in June last year, and then almost not thought about it again until we saw the show.
And Janie, if you were on the Gladiators, how do you reckon you'd get on?
Since a very small child, I've been able to scale a wall and climb up a pipe for the East End of Glasgow.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for that, Finlay. Brilliant story. I'll decide if it's the funniest and the best at the end of the show. Now, before we hear from Janie, we have got time for an unexpected round, and we couldn't start the new series without a game all about gladiators. So, Janie and Colin, if you want to get your massive cotton buds out and have a fight for us, I'll commentate. Okay? No? Not fancy it? No? Fair enough. For this round then, we're putting you up against all of the gladiators from the original series. I'll give you a pair of names. All you have to do is guess which one is a real gladiator and which one we've made up. This game's called Gladiator or Imitator. Gladiators, ready! Your time starts now. Ashes or Phoenix?
Phoenix!
Correct. Argos or Amazon?
Amazon.
Amazon, yes. Vogue or Cosmo?
Cosmo.
No, it's Vogue. Rhino or Hippo?
Rhino.
Rhino, yes. Vulcan or Spock?
Vulcan.
Yes. Nightlight or Nightshade?
Nightshade.
Nightshade.
Nightshade, you're rocking this. Right, let's go there a couple more. Badger or Fox?
Fox.
Badger.
You're terrible at this, Colin.
Oh, terrible.
And your last one, just for you, Colin. Rocksteady or Trojan?
Trojan.
Yes, there you go. That's your time up. I do like the fact that you thought one of them was called Badger. So you both did very, very well. I'll add all of those points on at the end. But Finlay, we can't leave you out of this, being the Gladiators expert. For some bonus points, I'm going to give you 10 seconds to name as many of the Gladiators as you can from the most recent series. The series you just won. There's 16 of them. Your 10 seconds starts now.
Apollo, Nitro, Steel, Saber. Oh my gosh, I can't remember any of them now.
Beaver.
Bionic.
Yeah, that's your time. That's your time. 5 out of 16, Finlay. That's shocking. Right. The ones you didn't get Giant. You didn't get Phantom. You didn't get Viper, the baddie. You didn't get Athena, Comet, Diamond, Dynamite, Electro, Fire, or Fury.
Oh.
But you did get the only Scottish gladiator, Sabre. So very well done. I'll add all of those points on at the end. Back to the good round now. And Janie Godley, so nice to have you back, an old friend of the show. What good story have you got for us today?
Well, after many years of sleeplessness and stress and anxiety, I finally got help to get me to sleep.
Excellent stuff. Well, this will be very good. A lot of people will be listening to this, right? What's your tips?
Once I was diagnosed with a cancer, the psychologist told me to download a sleep app. And I thought, okay, that maybe this will work. Because nothing else did. Even screaming into a pillow and putting the sausage dog on my face didn't work. So I gets the sleep app, and as soon as I turned it on, it was this American voice going, "Hello there, I'm going to help you sleep. My name is Shanice LaBelle." And immediately I hated her, so I didn't want to listen to her anymore. But I had to persevere. And Shanice LaBelle told me that I would be standing. She went, "Just imagine you're standing at the edge of a shore, and whoosh, I love a shore, whoosh, and you can feel the air on your skin because you're wearing a bikini." I'm like, "Hang on a minute, Shanice LaBelle. I'm a woman of a certain age and I'm Scottish. We don't wear bikinis. Their swimming costumes are basically a 48-hour girdle with a big flower on them to try and disguise them as a swimming costume." So... no, I'm not happy and I'm not wearing the bikini, but I'm back on the beach. I'm trying to relax. Shh, thank you, the ocean. Shh, thank you, the ocean. And she says, "You're standing there in the dark and you can see the moon." I'm like, hang on a minute. So to help my anxiety, I'm standing on a foreign beach in the dark in a bikini in the middle of the night. Do you know what I done? Turned it off, put on a murder podcast, 2 women funded in New York, out like a light.
Excellent. So that's your tip for anyone that can't get to sleep.
Aye.
Listen to real crime.
Women listen to murder podcasts.
I know.
Not because, you know why? So we can get tips on how to get away. So that's why we listen to it.
With the amount of swooshing and water flowing in that audiobook, as a man of a certain age now, that would just make me need a pee the whole time.
I absolutely agree.
That's a cracking story, Jerry. Thank you for that. And I need to decide who's got the best of the good stories now. Now, I am not going to give you the points, I'm afraid, Finlay, because the idea of him being at the final of the Gladiators wearing a Saddam Hussein medal would have been fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give the points to you either, Colin, because when I found out that McCartney had washed your dishes, the idea of a man with one of the most popular songs ever that doesn't own a dishwasher is frankly disgusting. So all of the points in that round go to Janie Godley. Well done, Janie!
Congratulations, Jenny.
JD.
Before we get to the bad stuff, we've got time for an unexpected round. And this game is all about the single that was number one in Australia, America, Ireland, Switzerland, Canada, and of course the UK. Men at Work's biggest song, Down Under.
Do you come from a land down under? Where women go and men thunder?
Like many people, I always thought that the folk in the song had had too much to drink, and the line was where women blow and men chunder. But that's not what it really is it, Colin?
No, it's a dodgy lyric. People don't know the lyrics. They know plunder, thunder, cover. They'll just pick one of them and sing that.
For this round, I've got some of the most common misheard lyrics from songs. So to win the points, you have to tell me the name of the song and who it's by. So here's the first misheard lyric. I'm Sue Lolly.
I'm Sue Lolly.
I'm Sue Lolly.
I don't know.
Can you at least attempt to sing it?
Not 999. I'm so lolly. I'm so lolly.
Oh, it's the police.
It is the police.
And the song is I'm So Lonely.
Yes, it's I'm so lonely. Let's hear what it sounds like. Right, next one, bit more difficult. Just let me staple the vicar.
We Are Family, Sister Sledge.
Oh, Jenny.
Just let me state for the record. We're giving love in the family well.
Yes, it still sounds like Staple the Vicar, but of course it is. Just let me state for the record, Sister Sledge, we are family. Right, you're absolutely rocking it. Right, this one, bit more difficult, bit of local reference, okay? The misheard lyric is, I'll die in Aberdeen, I will die. In Aberdeen, I will die.
in Aberdeen.
In Aberdeen.
I'm Blue. The I'm Blue Dabba Dee Dabba Die thing. Oh,
I'm going to give you the points. It was Blue by Eiffel 65, and it's not
That's
about dying
the
in Aberdeen. The actual song sounds like...
I'm blue, I'll be, I'll die, I'll be, I'll die.
Yes. Here's the next one. I believe that the hot dogs go on. I believe that the hot
know.
dogs go on.
I
Any
believe
ideas?
that the hot dogs go on. No, I can't even sing it.
Is it a Michael Jackson song?
It's not Michael Jackson. A very, very, very popular singer. It's one of the highest selling singles of
Is
all
it a Whitney
time.
Houston song?
It's not, but you're close. Similar kind of artist to Whitney.
Yeah.
I believe that the hot dogs go
Oh, is
on.
it Titanic?
It is. It's the recent barbecue she had.
Good old sea lion dying.
You all did very, very well. I'll add all of those bonus points in at the end. You're listening to The Good, the Bad and the Unexpected on BBC Radio Scotland with me, Mark Nelson. And today I'm joined by legendary singer-songwriter and frontman of Men at Work, Colin Hay, the reigning champion of Gladiators, Finlay Anderson, and the one and only Janie Godley. We've had the good and some of the unexpected. Now it's time for the bad stuff. We're going to play a game we like to call The Worst Ever. All you need to do is buzz in if you think you've got the worst story. So, fingers and buzzers, first up. Who's had the worst ever close shave? Colin.
The Olympics in Sydney in 2000 springs to mind. We were closing the closing ceremony, which was probably going to be the biggest gig I'll ever play in my life. Where I had to play Down Under to close the closing ceremony. And when we arrived there, this big Australian guy goes, don't worry about a thing, mate. On the night, stand in one spot, somebody will come to get you. Stand in that spot, somebody else will come to get you, take you to another spot. Stand in that spot, somebody else will come to get you, take you to another spot. And first of all, I should say that Australians have a strange use of the word or. If you're standing with a bunch of musicians at the airport with a lot of guitars and piano, like drums and instruments, someone will eventually sidle up to you and say, using a band or... Anyway, we rehearsed this thing beautifully, the whole thing. This big Australian guy, at the end, he goes, don't worry about a thing, mate, we're professionals. And so we rehearsed this thing for 11 times, standing in one spot, coming down the tunnel and, getting our little ears in, and then running, sprinting across the field on the back of the stage for just in time for the guy to go, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Men at Work. And on the night, we stood in one spot. Somebody came to get us. Took us to another spot, stood in that spot. Somebody came to get us. And then we're in the last spot just before we had to run across the field and go up the back of the stage in front of 160,000 people with 2 billion people watching, and nobody was coming to get us. We're just standing there, and nobody was coming to get us. And we're standing there for too long, and I remember thinking, at this point in the song before, we were on the stage by this point, and I'm thinking, this is going to be the worst ever non-performance. And just as I thought that, the girl with the walkie-talkie looked at me and she said, somebody coming to get you? Or...
Oh my God.
So we had to sprint across the field, and just in time for the guy to go, please, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Men at Work. And we played the song, and it was all beautiful. And then in the green room afterwards, I saw the same guy, the big Australian guy that met us there, and he just looked at me and he goes, "How was that, mate? That was enormous." I said, "Yeah, nobody came to get us. Nobody came to get us." He goes, "Nobody came to get you, mate." I said, "No." And he goes, "Oh, well, you worked it out. You're a professional."
Oh my God.
Fantastic. Oh, brilliant. Okay, next one. Who's had the worst ever first day at work? Finlay.
As an army officer, our first role that we start in is as a platoon commander. So you're in charge of a platoon of 28 to 30 soldiers, which can be quite daunting. One of the great bits of advice that you get is just don't flap. So it's just another way of saying don't be the one that's panicking. Always be the one that tries to keep a cool head. So I get sent out to Afghanistan on my first operation, and I meet the guys out there. They'd already been there on this first op tour, and I turn up at this little base in Helmand Province in the middle of nowhere, ready as this fearless leader of men to take charge. And everything seems okay. And then one of my corporals, for whatever reason, rather than eat rations, decided that we should get some chickens. And then he just looks at me, and it's one of those sort of, it feels like a prison yard moment. And he just goes, "Boss, can you help me cut the chicken?" And here I am thinking, okay, I am a complete city kid. Like, I'm from central Edinburgh. I've never killed anything. And he was like, "You don't know what you're doing, do you?" I was like, "No, absolutely not." He goes, "Okay, all it is, boss, is hold the neck in between these middle two fingers, keep a tight hold of the body, and just snap it like this. And make sure you keep a hold, because it'll wriggle around a bit, and then it'll die quite quickly." I thought, okay, that's easy enough. So I take my chicken. I was probably a little bit too enthusiastic. And I did actually rip the head clean off the chicken.
Oh my
and when you
God.
do that, you actually lose your grip on the other half. So then I drop the body of the chicken, and I only have a chicken head in my hand. And I'm in the desert in Afghanistan, so a headless chicken body is flapping just as hard as I'm flapping up the dust. And I ruined half the dinner. So that was a pretty bad first day in the army.
Absolutely amazing.
Wow.
Okay, which of you has had the worst ever reality check? Colin.
I've been lucky enough to play in Ringo's band for off and on for the last 20 years. So we travel in this nice wee plane. It spoils you rotten like nothing else. And on the first tour I did with Ringo, after I did that tour, I had my own tour to do. So I went straight from the private plane to the minivan with my band, with all my band, and me driving, and I pull up at the gas station. I walk into the petrol station, and the girl says to me, "Oh, you have a nice accent. Where are you from?" And I said, "Well, originally I'm from Scotland." She said, "Oh, Scotland." She said, "Oh," she said, I don't like it here." I said, "Well, if you could live anywhere, where would you live?" She said, "Probably the land down under." I said, "Really?" And I said, "I wrote that song." She said, "What?" I said, "That song, Down Under, I wrote that song." She said, "You did not." I said, "You did." And just then the tour manager walks in and said, "Hey, Jeff," I said, "What do you think is the most popular song I've ever written?" He said, "I don't know." and then the girl says to me, "And anyway, I know you didn't write that song because you don't remind me at all of Sting."
Oh, no.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Okay, what about this one? Who's had the worst ever outfit fail? Jeannie.
Oh, I can take that one for sure. When I was in hospital, I sent my husband home to get me an overnight bag. And I said, get me headphones, get me an eye mask, get me a phone charger, moisturiser, toothbrush, toothpaste, underwear, pair of slippers. And he's like, aye, on it. And, you know, we had practiced this. And he came back into the hospital and I emptied the bag. And, you know, once you've had a hysterectomy, all you look like is a spatchcock chicken. So you're needing the right underwear. And as soon as I pulled open the bag, it was a yellow satin basque with a G-string on it. And I thought, wait, where did you get that from? He said, that was in your drawer. I says, did you push 96 pairs of black knickers out the way till you found that? He went, it was in your drawer. I went, it's been there since that sexy weekend we had in Paris in 1997. So, Mark, I had to put it on because we didn't have any underwear. It was, I can't tell you how horrible it was. And as soon as the doctor came in, I had to say, look, before you go any further, you need to see this. And he laughed that much that he brought other doctors in to laugh.
Oh no! I love the way your husband's managed to change a hospital stay into Carry On Matron. It's like-
Absolutely. He's done it so many times. He thinks he's being funny, but because he's autism, he doesn't understand where the line's drawn. And when I was getting told that the cancer was incurable, he went, and now the end is... I was like, no, this is not the time for a
Wrong
song.
time.
Not the time.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you, all of you, for a fantastic round. That's all we have time for the bad round, and I think I'm going to give all the points in that round to Colin Hay. Well done, Colin.
Thank you very much.
Colin.
Thank you.
Time for a bit more of the unexpected now. And Janie, it is wonderful to have you back on the show, and you have inspired our next unexpected round because you're on tour at the moment with screenings of your fantastic biopic Janie, which is a look back at your life and career. How's that all going?
Brilliant. People are loving the film. I go out and introduce it, and of course I make the joke that I'm sorry, I don't want to spoil it, but she dies at the end. and the audience are loving it.
And how long did it take you to come up with the title?
Janie, it was a hard one, actually.
Brilliant stuff. Well, for this game, I'm going to give you all the title of a famous big screen biopic. What I'm looking for is the name of the person that the film is about.
Right.
Okay, we'll fit in as many as we can. Your time starts now. Back to Black.
That's Amy Winehouse.
It is Amy Winehouse, played by Marissa Abela. The Social Network.
Mark Zuckerberg.
Yes, well done, Finlay. Mark Zuckerberg, Jesse Eisenberg playing him. The King's Speech.
The King.
Yes, but which one?
The Queen's
Edward.
Da.
George the First.
Sorry, George the what, Finlay?
First.
Nah, much later than that.
George the Fourth.
Nah, later.
George the 19th.
Less.
George the Fifth.
No, just one more.
George the Sixth.
George the Sixth, there you go, yes. Brilliantly played by Colin Firth. The Theory of Everything.
Stephen Hawking.
Very well done, Finlay, yes. I, Tonya.
Tonya Harding.
Tonya Harding.
Yes, very well done. It's a fantastic film, played by Margot Robbie. You're doing fantastically, right? Couple more. Waiting for My Real Life.
Don't know.
Me.
It is you, Colin. Very well done. Yes. Yes, from 2015, a biopic documentary about Colin Hay's life.
You still got one.
If it was ever made into a film, who would you fancy playing you, Colin?
Margot Robbie.
Yay, Margot Robbie.
And that sound means it's the end of the show. So if I have a look at the scores, adding in those last points there and all the bonus points from earlier on, I can tell you that unbelievably, this week's winner is Finlay. Well done, Finlay.
Well done, Finlay.
Thanks, everyone.
Champion of Gladiators and now champion of the Good, the Bad and the Unexpected. Very, very well done. You've been listening to The Good, the Bad and the Unexpected. Thank you to all my guests this week. Colin Hay, Finlay Anderson and Janie Godley. I'm Mark Nelson and we'll be back at the same time next week. Thanks for listening. Goodbye.